Leeds International School, Primary 4, Buddhism, first midterm. The lesson is the Prince Marriage. Objectives. End of this lesson, you will be able to understand who was the Prince Siddhartha, how he lived with his parents, Princess Yashodhara, and the Prince Marriage. Contents. Prince Siddhartha, his palaces, Princess Yashodhara, and marriage of Prince Siddhartha. In the first and second lessons, you have learned about Prince Siddhartha's childhood. Do you remember where he was born? Yes, Prince Siddhartha was born in Lumbini Salpak on a Vesak Poya day. Prince Siddhartha's mother was Queen Mahamaya and his father was King Suddhodana. You all know, the 7 days after the birth of Prince Siddhartha, Queen Mahamaya died. After that, Queen Prajapati became his stepmother. He grew up as a good child in the palace. Who was his teacher? Yes, his teacher was Sarvamitra. He learned many subjects and languages from his teacher. He was clever in boxing, wrestling, and also learned good manners. He had a best friend called Channa. His cousin brother was Devadatta. On the naming ceremony day, Brahmin Kondanya predicted that definitely the prince will be the Lord Buddha. After the prediction of Brahmin Kondanya, King Suddhodana was worried about Prince Siddhartha. So, from the childhood, King Suddhodana gave all luxury things to Prince Siddhartha to keep him in the palace. King Suddhodana gave 3 palaces to the prince to keep him comfortable. During the 3 seasons, Prince lived in these palaces. The palaces were Ramya, Suramya, and Subha. The first one, Ramya Palace. It was the first palace. This palace was built of fragrant wood. This palace the prince would use for the winter season. It was Ramya Palace. Suramya Palace. This was the second palace King Suddhodana built for Prince Siddhartha. It was built of polished marble. It was quite cool inside the palace. Prince Siddhartha used it for the summer season. Subha Palace. This was the third palace. The third palace was built of bricks. The roof had green tiles. This was for the rainy season. Not only the palaces, King Suddhodana supplied many servants, delicious food, different clothes and jewelry, and royal vehicles, elephants, and horses to the Prince Siddhartha to keep him in the palace. But with all these even, the prince did not look happy. This made King Suddhodana to think of Brahmin Kondanya's prediction. The King Suddhodana discussed this matter with his ministers and family members to take another step to keep Prince in the palace. They said the prince should get married to the most beautiful girl in the land. Princess Yashodhara. Princess Yashodhara was King Suddhodana's sister's daughter. Her mother was Queen Amita. Her father was King Suppabuddha. And her brother was Prince Devadatta. She was the most beautiful girl in the land. The Prince Siddhartha belongs to Shakya clan. The prince should demonstrate to the public that he was a person and also wise in all other fields as archery, horse riding, and sports. So, there was to be a contest. Many other youths too were called for the contest. Prince Siddhartha also demonstrated all his talents to the Princess Yashodhara and her family. Finally, everyone agreed that Prince Siddhartha was the best in all the field. This qualified him to be a husband of the most beautiful Prince Yashodhara. The Prince Siddhartha married Princess Yashodhara when he was 16 years of age. They spent their married life happily. This is not the first birth Princess Yashodhara lived with Prince Siddhartha. Throughout the samsara, in his other births, she lived with Prince Siddhartha. One time they born as Mermaid King and Queen and Vesantara King and Queen, as well as Brahmin Sumedha and Sumitra. Not only that, in the Lakkhana-Miga Jataka also we found them. When Prince Siddhartha was developing Paramita, he was always supported by this great lady. 13 years they lived together in Ramya, Suramya and Subha palaces. They had a son. He was Prince Rahula. He born on Asalapoya day. Same day, Prince Siddhartha decided to leave the palace. To see the four omens, the King Suddhodana's comfortable life even could not stop Prince Siddhartha. Summary. Prince Siddhartha's mother was Queen Mahamaya and King Suddhodana was his father. His teacher was Brahmin Sarvamitra. He learned many subjects and arts from his teacher. King Suddhodana built 3 luxury palaces for Prince Siddhartha, and he gave all the things prince need to keep him in the palace. Prince Siddhartha married Princess Yashodhara. She was the most beautiful girl in the land. After living with all these comfortable things even, he left the palace and went to find the nirvana. After watch this video, you have to do these exercises. Give answers to these questions. Name Prince Siddhartha's mother and father. Who was his best friend? What are the 3 palaces built by King Suddhodana for Prince Siddhartha? Who was Prince Siddhartha's wife? Who was his son?